But there's a lot of people you'd like to pay back, or you'd like to, and you don't do it. You just race. You don't ruffle feathers. You don't usually do that.
I try not to.
But you also, I think you said something after the race last week, like, if you had raced a little dirty, maybe you could have won that race. So, like, do you go back and look at that and say, what do I do? Or you, like, what you will do and you're not going to...
I mean, I think I did everything that I would do again. Tried to race it out. I guess I could have tried something different, but if I was in the same situation, I'd probably race that race the same way. I thought we had a shot at winning, and we didn't get the right push we needed when we had the bottom on the restarts. But, I guess, in hindsight, I probably could have done the same thing Danny did, I guess. I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it, but I wouldn't probably do the same exact thing if I was in that situation. I restarted second once on the outside and couldn't get the lead. So yeah, it is what it is.
Do you think he would mind? Do you think he would mind that you mentioned that in your interview, which was sort of surprising? You don't usually do that, where you said, "Hey, his was a little dirty. I finished the number I did."
I don't know. I don't really know. I just gave my opinion on what happened and felt like I probably could have done the same thing at some point, maybe, but I didn't. So, we didn't win at the end of the day. He did.
So why not do something different and win?
I don't know, Bob. I guess it's not how I race. I just race the way I always do. And, hindsight, I could have done something different, I guess. That was all it was. And, I think the way I race people going forward is the same as I always have. And I think in the long game that pays off. We'll wait and see, I guess. Maybe it won't, maybe it will, I don't know. But I just race the way I race, and that's it.
You may say something about it, but I don't see that you'll ever change, even though you must have been frustrated that you could have done that. But you do never change, your philosophy. At least you haven't.
Yeah, I don't plan on changing, I think if we're in maybe a championship race or something, you go a little bit, you cross that line a little bit maybe, I don't know. But I did what, I raced the way I do, and what happened. It's really, has nothing to do with me at all. So I'd really rather not get involved in it.
Joe, go ahead, Bob.
I was going to say, like, we could see a bump and run here, and we'll say, well, that's for the win, and that's, that's what you do. So what makes that, what we saw Sunday, maybe a little bit different?
Depends on who's talking about it. Everybody's got their opinions. Some people say it's fair, some people say it's not. So I wasn't one of the parties involved, so I'd rather not comment. I just, I thought there was a little more contact than there was when I seen it out my windshield. But, again, it's hard to see exactly if you're not right up on it. So, yeah, just what it is. I don't know. I really don't have an opinion either way on any of it.
Both Joe Gibbs and David Wilson have said this week that they were open to giving you more runway on making a decision, and that you didn't need to kind of necessarily have to make it, in the next week or two or however. Is that something that they've?
It's hot.
Is that conveyed to you, and does that give you more opportunity to kind of push this down the road a little bit, if you want?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'll figure it out pretty soon.
Coming back?
I'll figure it out pretty quick.
Did you buy the boat yet?
I did. Yeah.
That's one big decision.
Center console. It's kind of mid-size.
When are you going fishing?
Every chance I get, Claire.
And when would that be, though?
I'll be fishing this week. I was fishing last week. I was fishing week before that. So.
Live bait fishing for king marlin?
No marlin.
Mackerel?
Caught some tuna.
Tuna.
Mm-hmm.
Is this decision still weighing on you like it's been, like at New Hampshire, as you conveyed?
It's not an easy one, I can promise you that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Any clarity?
It's a tough one to figure out.
Denny said that Mark Martin's style of racing wouldn't jive right now with the aggressiveness out there. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's I guess taking it to an extreme. I think the way he raced side by side with Ben Hard with people, I think I would say that I probably race the same way. Now we don't just roll over and give up spots, 200 laps into the race because it's so early. That is definitely changed, no question. But, I think Mark raced hard and aggressive at times when he had to as well, which I think that works today still.
Is this playoff going to come down to Hendrick and Gibbs? It just looks like, whether it's the 24, the 5, even the 9, if he gets run, Denny, Bell, even, Ty has shown a little promise. Is this you guys going to be the ones battling for the hardware?
I don't know. I think it's too early to tell, really. Playoffs are crazy. A lot can happen. You got to get through the rounds. You can be the best car all year long, and one or two mistakes at bad times, you can find yourself on the outside. So I think it's just way too early. The playoffs are way too crazy to know.
You have a 30-point margin to win the regular season title. I think you would become the second guy to get that, along with Kyle Busch. I mean, what do those 15 points mean?
They're huge. Yeah, I mean, bonus points are everything. That's what gets you through the playoffs. When you do have a bad day or you have a mistake or something, bad happens, you rely heavily on those. So we're pushing hard for that. Obviously, every point we get matters, and that it all kind of runs together, at the end of the year. So we'll see. We'll do our best. It's been we've had a good run here lately.
Do you feel like by not having all the drivers in the field talking about a move that you made, that you have a better chance of winning a championship by staying under the radar?
I mean, you certainly don't want to go into the playoffs with guys having grudges, against you and wanting to settle scores, because if they have a bad day, they're going to try to take you with them. We've seen it in the past. So I think, big picture racing is always important to not have enemies, I would think. And yeah, I mean, I don't want anyone out to get me when the playoffs start. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Do you think
It's going to be his luck.
Yeah, things change. A lot happens. We've seen it year after year. A lot of guys get in trouble for being aggressive and making moves and wrecking guys. So I mean, not saying I've never wrecked anyone, but I try to race as clean as I possibly can.
You do want to leave the sport with respect. I mean, that seems to be very high on your list.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's high on my list. I just feel like I race that way, and I appreciate getting raced that way. I don't know. I don't really know if when I leave I care what is left. I don't know what people say when I leave. I'm not sure, but sure like to win more races and more championships, and that would get respect, especially if you did it the right way.
Can't do that out on your boat. Win more championships.
Sure can't. But yeah.
Going to Michigan next week, how do you feel about that track? I mean, you with the kind of speed you guys have had this year.
It's one of those places, kind of like Loudon. A few weeks ago we finally broke through after so many great runs there and leading laps, and feeling like we had winning cars there so many times. And Michigan's kind of that way for us too. We've been so strong there over the years at times, and we've had some really good races there. And for whatever reason, it always kind of falls apart at the end. So I think it's a place we can go win. I feel like we can win anywhere right now, honestly. Anywhere we go. The team's doing an amazing job. Our cars are really fast, and I just look forward to showing up at the track every weekend with a shot to win. That's what it's all about.
Having this race right in the heat of summer, how's it going to affect the racing, do you think, being so hot?
Just, I mean, this place is already so slippery. No traction, no grip. I mean, you're just, fighting the car every inch of the way and sliding everywhere. So it's just going to make that even more difficult. And I feel like every time we come back here, it gets harder and harder. And you add this heat to it, it's going to be a handful for sure.
All right, thanks.
This is Austin Dillon, driver of the Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also check out one of those 2 videos beside me. Visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.